Alright, hello everyone, welcome in to another YouTube video. A bit different this time because, well, I don't usually read the patch notes or the developer updates that DBD do, but this one is so huge. And if you don't know me, by the way, my name is CapJ. I'm a DBD YouTuber / streamer. And the thing that you need to know about me is I am a big killer main. I do play quite a lot of Survivor. In fact, I've been playing Survivor quite a decent bit since 2v8 got released or got brought back. But yeah, I do specialize in killer. You'll see all my videos on YouTube are going to be killer videos. Yeah, I got, how many P100s do I have? I think 8 P100 killers. So yeah, I am a big killer main, which I think really does make a difference with my opinion on this, on these developer updates, or on this developer update specifically. One thing you do need to know is that I know there's a lot of people that will get very annoyed at these or this update. And kind of rightfully so in a way. There's a whole us versus them debate. And yeah, I'm just gonna say this right now. I am not gonna be that type of person. I'm not gonna sit there and complain about every single change that negatively affects killer whatever. I'm actually gonna be very honest in how I feel. I'm actually gonna give detailed reasons as to why I feel like some of these changes are good or bad. So I'm not just gonna sit there and be like, this change is bad, this change is good, this change is bad, and that's it. So feel free to stick around. And yeah, I'm kind of, I mean, I've read these already, but I kind of want to give my opinions. This was posted a few hours ago, so I have had a little bit of time to think about these changes. Also keep this in mind, take this with a grain of salt. These are just a developer, this is just the notes. So I've not seen, or I've not actually played the PTB yet. You'll see some YouTube recordings of me playing the PTB, so yeah, keep that in mind, and I'll keep that in mind for myself as well. Let's start off with the first one. They get straight into it in terms of the big discussions, and the first one is slugging reduction update. Obviously, no one likes slugging. Let's be real. No one likes slugging. But, you know, some people slug, or some killers slug for the whole purpose of being annoying. Some people slug because it actually is something that needs to do. Maybe they're losing the game. But I generally believe, I'm just going to say this right now before I read the changes. I think these changes are decent. I don't hate them at all. Basically, they make it so once you are down for a total of 90 seconds, so 90 seconds is a minute and a half, that's a pretty long time. So even if you do slug a bit, you're gonna have to like really like decently aggressively slug in order to actually get those 90 seconds. They gain the ability to pick themselves after fully recovering. Added the option to enable, disable, mechanic, custom games, whatever, blah blah blah. And then they also did say perk to enable you to recover from dying state like boon exponential will continue to function as before. So yeah, keep that in mind. I wonder if I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that plot twist won't work. You can't just plot twist and sit there for 90 seconds and then pick yourself up. But yeah, anyways, that is only one of the changes. They also made it so that you can recover while crawling. So they're kind of like tenacity, basically like tenacity. So yeah, you get base kit, somewhat tenacity, plus you can pick yourself up like an infinite unbreakable after 90 seconds. Again, 90 seconds is long, dude. 90 seconds, you have to really slug people, and that's 90 seconds for just one survivor. So if you slug one survivor for 90 seconds, only that survivor will be able to pick themselves up. If you then slug other people, they will have to wait 90 seconds. So yeah, a total of, what is it, 180, 360 seconds, which is 6 minutes in total, which yeah, so I would say if you like are fully slugging, these are definitely changes that will affect you. There are some killers that do get affected more so. For example, Oni. Oni does slug, and he is built to slug because his power will actually disable if you do pick up someone. So lots of Onis are encouraged to slug. But they did actually do a change. Spoiler alert, they did do a change to kind of counteract that. They did make it so that if you hook survivors, you get more blood, which is great. But at the same time, there are other killers more than just Oni that slug. The biggest one is twins. Why did they not make any changes to twins regarding this? Like, that makes no sense that they would change Oni, but then they won't change twins. I don't know. Maybe make it so that the 90 seconds is higher, and so like it's 120 seconds if you are playing against twins or something along those lines. Twins players are gonna be so they're gonna absolutely hate this. I actually kind of partially do want to play twins on the PTB just to see if this actually does affect me. And I know some people will be like, oh well, you're just gonna have to adapt to it, you can't slug anymore, but that makes no sense. At the end of the day, if you are on the other side as Victor, like other side of the map as Victor, like away from Charlotte, and you down someone, no matter how quickly you try to pick them up, it's still going to take time because you have to then switch to Charlotte and then walk as a 4.6 killer all the way to the other side of the map in order to pick up. So that's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel necessarily about that. So yeah, it's kind of rough. I think the Oni change is great. But yeah, the fact that they only change Oni as if Oni is the only killer that does slug, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just me, kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. But no, other than that, if you are just a basic killer like Trapper or whatever, hey, these changes are not too bad. I think people are definitely people are saying that these changes are stupid. Maybe does it need some like I don't know, should it be 120 seconds instead of 90 seconds? I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out. I think the crawling while recovering while crawling is kind of like something that I'm gonna have to test out a little bit more, or a little bit on the PTB to actually see how much it affects me. But I think for the most part, this is fine. This is definitely not the changes that you need to worry about at all. Obviously, I know you've been probably watching this for a decent bit, but yeah, you can recover while you crawl. You also have this like little meter, which is basically the same as the anti-camp one, which suggests when you can pick yourself up. And then yeah, as you can see, pick yourself up there, which is cool. And then yeah, they said when it comes to slugging, we know it can be frustrating if you're on the receiving end of it too often or for too long, but we also know that sometimes it's a smart move, allowing the killer to this update system acknowledging this, allowing the killer to slug occasionally when they feel like it had the right call, but eventually kick it and swing in the survivor's favor if slugging is used excessively. I think this is a decent change. I actually don't know. Again, I don't know if 90 seconds is too small or too big. I wouldn't say it's too big, but who knows? At the end of the day, like I said, this is a PTB. They might recognize that it might need to be bumped up or something. But yeah, like if you're slugging for more than 90 seconds on like a killer like Blight or whatever, I feel like, you know, I feel like you're kind of asking for it a little bit. So I don't know. This is the one that I think most people are talking about, and I completely understand why people are talking about it. I actually been talking about the slugging one for so long, and I have no idea if I'm going to be talking about the tunneling one for even longer. This is crazy, dude. This is absolutely wild. I kind of like the idea, but the execution just doesn't seem great. First of all, when a survivor is hooked, their hook status is hidden from the killer. While they're unhooked, there is no notification, and their hook status isn't revealed immediately. This is okay. So first of all, hook status is hidden from the killer. Okay. Sure. They basically made it so that if you can't, I guess you can't see the meter as well, the meter for like how close you are to hitting the second stage or how close you are to dying. There's a lot of times where even I will not camp someone, I will not camp them at all, but they're literally like 5 seconds away from hitting second stage, and then I will go to camp them for literally just 5 seconds. That, I guess, they're kind of trying to move away from, which kind of makes sense. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. When they're on hook, there is no notification, and the hook status isn't revealed immediately. This one is good and bad at the same time. The reason as to why people do go back to hook a lot of the time, sometimes they do it annoyingly to tunnel or whatever. Like, I get people going back to hook instantly is annoying, but in a situation like me, the reason as to why sometimes I will go back to hook is because I will hook someone, I will have no info perks, I will have no barbecue or anything along those lines. I might have like nowhere to hide, but I won't be able to find anyone with nowhere to hide. Or maybe I won't even be able to kick Gen. I'll go away from the hook, and then I hear someone on hook. I cannot find anyone, and I know there's 2 people at that hook, so I'll go back because I know that that's a guaranteed spot with the survivors will be at. That's the reason as to like for someone like me would. I know there's lots of killers that would do that. At the end of the day, you want to put pressure on as killer, and obviously tunneling is something that they want to step away from, but at the same time you do want to just find survivors. Luckily they have made some changes so that will be a lot less of a need in terms of going back to hook to try find people. I will talk about it in a bit because it is a bit further down. Yeah, this is disabled once all generators are complete, so yeah, I mean, makes sense, right? Makes sense. If you're an end game and you still need that one hook, completely fair. Unhooked survivors gain the following effects for a limited time: haste, endurance, and elusive. So haste and endurance, the exact same. Elusive is a new one. You get no collision with other players, both killer and survivor, immunity to killer instinct, and sees the killer's aura nearby. I apologize. These effects are lost when the affected survivor performs a conspicuous action. All these effects, except haste and endurance, are disabled once all generators are completed. So yeah, basically they made it so, for example, let's just say an example, you get hooks in basement, you get saved, the killer comes back and body blocks you for a little bit. They body block you, trying to make sure you don't get out of the basement. They weigh out your endurance, they hit you. That won't be a thing anymore. I think that's good. I think that's perfect. I think that's actually a very good thing. You know, and not even just in basement, like a lot of killers will just body block in order to make sure that you get the endurance. And I know they have, or to get rid of the endurance, I know they made the free crows thing where you get crows and then you lose collision, but quite frankly, I think the endurance wears off a little bit before. I think the endurance wears off a little bit before the crows actually end up popping by. So yeah, perfect. I actually really like this change. I think this is going to be a bit awkward for some reasons, which I will explain in a bit as well. Let me go further down. Added a unique effect to the killer's hook state UI that indicates the last survivor they hooked. So this will be, yeah, it will tell you the last survivor you hooked. And they're going to incentivize you to make sure you don't hook them again. So you will avoid mistakenly going for the same person again if you do forget, or if you did forget who you hooked. Cool. Somewhat. After completing a unique hook, the same survivor is not hooked consecutively. Killer gets the following benefits. First of all, this is great. I'm so glad they actually recognize the fact that if they just got rid of tunneling and camping and slugging and all of that, if they just got rid of it, that would be super unhealthy, because at the end of the day, lots of killers do tunnel, camp, slug, whatever, because the game is rough. The game is rough. Sometimes they need to if they want to win. Simple as that. If you disagree, I'm sorry, but that is literally just the case. Yeah, so once they get a unique hook, so they hook different people, bonus damage to the next generator kick, so like a mini pop, I suppose. Temporary haste stats effect, so a mini, I guess, devour, kind of like third chase almost. Temporarily fill survivor, think of base kit, barbecue, and chili, that have less or equal hook states to the hook survivor. So that's pretty good as well. It will encourage you to then go for obviously more hooks. That's what I was going to say as well. That's actually going to make the whole not being able to go back to hook as efficiently a lot better, because you should, at least with this, you should be able to find other survivors pretty easily, unless they kind of bait in like a locker or something to avoid the aura reading, which I'm not sure. I mean, it says temporarily reveals survivors, so it doesn't say aura, so I guess it's like if they do hide in lockers, they still get revealed with like the little kind of like infectious fray, where you will see that little icon of like the person just standing there. It'll be like that instead of aura reading, I suppose. These effects are slightly lessened for the Blight, Dark Lord, Ghoul, Hillbilly, and Nurse. So I guess, yeah, people that have a lot of speed, a lot of the stronger killers, they will not see them for as much, which is pretty good. Not too bad. Added new effects for that disincentivizes tunneling. This one I'm not gonna lie, I won't lie, I don't like. So far, like, everything's like okay, there is some flaws, but this is like bad. If a survivor dies before 6 total hook states, all remaining survivors gain a repair speed bonus for the rest of the trial. If the survivor that was last hooked is sacrificed or killed, generators cannot be regressed or blocked. Okay, let me talk about this real quick, because I think this is crazy. So let's first of all start with the if the survivor dies before 6 total hook states, all remaining survivors gain a repair speed bonus for the rest of the trial. So it says before 6 hook states. So if you kill someone when you have 5 hook states, so let's say the team consists of Meg, Claudette. Actually, let's just say Meg and 3 Claudettes, because that'll work. You hook the Meg at the start. You then hook a Claudette. You then go back and hook the Meg. You then hook a Claudette. And then you see the Meg again. You hook them. They're dead at 5 hook stages. But you've not hooked them, like, you've not hooked them after they've just been unhooked, right? You've actually gone and got a hook in between. But you still get punished for it. I just don't know. Maybe it's just me. I think it should be before 5 hook states, because that way, no matter what you do, you have just gone for that same person twice in a row. But I feel like you can play fair and still get a kill at 5 hooks. Maybe that's just me. But like I said, you can kill someone at 5 hooks without hooking them consecutively. So I don't know if killers should be necessarily punished for that. I do understand though, but at the same time, we also got this one. We also got the if survivor that was last hooked is sacrificed or killed, generators can be regressed or cannot be regressed or blocked. This, I don't know, chat. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like, I just, listen, if you're on like 2 gens and you've got like 2 hooks, you can, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like, if I got tunneled at like 1 gen, I would not mind, because, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think everything should just be based in any game, you know? One thing I will say as well that I am very concerned about with these changes, I know damn well there are going to be, and I'm not talking about every survivor, I'm going to talk about most survivors. I know there is a lot of survivors that are going to very much abuse this. what do I mean by this? They're going to make it so that they very, 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 let's just say, yeah, like I said, Meg gets unhooked, right? Meg is going to go out of her way to make sure that no one else dies. She would take body blocks, she would do whatever it takes, right? Because if you hook her again, bad, right? Bad. You're gonna get negatively affected, or more so, not positively affected with these bonus damage to next generators, right? And you might just think, well, okay, let's just say the Meg is body blocking and stuff like that. You can down her and then leave her slugged. But then what about this? What about a slug reduction update where they can then pick themselves up? I think survivors are going to absolutely abuse the living hell out of this. I am not excited. I understand these changes and I understand what they're going for, but you cannot make changes. You cannot be like, okay, right, people tunnel way too much for no reason, so let's make it so that if people do tunnel for no reason, they get punished, but then completely ignore the cases where survivors kind of do it to themselves. Because that's one thing I will say, a lot of the time, not most of the time I don't think, but a lot of the time, the reason that's like, if someone gets tunneled, a lot of the time it is the survivor's fault because they play stupid. They decide to run into the killer, they decide to not play safe. Every other survivor is hiding, and they're the only one that is not hiding, right? I just think maybe, just maybe, if they made it so that there's like a timer to it, so I don't know, if a survivor dies before 6 total hook stays, blah blah, if survivor's last hook is sacrificed or killed, maybe make it so that if they are sacrificed or killed within 2 minutes of them being hooked, or being unhooked more so, then it kicks in. But the fact that you just have to, I don't know, dude, maybe it's just me, but I think if everyone plays normally, like, it's the same with Decisive Strike and Off the Record. They're very good perks, and I love Off the Record and Decisive, but the amount of people that then just play dumb. I always say on my stream, Decisive Strike is a perk where you get rewarded for playing dumb. You get rewarded for being dumb, getting down within 60 seconds of being unhooked, and then get rewarded by stunning the killer. Like that, like, and that just shouldn't be how it is, right? But you gotta understand, and Dead by Daylight behavior have got to understand that that is a thing. That is a thing that's going to happen. People are going to abuse it, whether you like it or not. You have to consider that, you know? So, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think this is really, really bad. I can't fully say what I would change about this just yet. I would like to wait. I would like to wait for the PTB and then maybe make some suggestions, but I don't know. This is just not it. This is not it. As a killer, like, and here's the thing I will say as well, you can look at all my YouTube videos, or a lot of my YouTube videos, and I am the type of killer that I don't tunnel. I don't fully go to get someone out within like five gens and then play easy mode, right? I don't do that. I actually think, for the most part, I play very fair. These are the type of changes that I am also going to get affected by because of how survivors play. So, you know, in maybe like mid to low MMR, cool, really good changes, because I don't think people are going to be necessarily abusing it. But if you're against survivors that are pretty good, and survivors that want to win, and survivors that are like, okay, let's just like use this as a way to, I don't know, make sure the killer gets a negative effect. I don't know. I think this is really ridiculous. I think, I don't know. Maybe I'm yapping. But I understand what they were trying to do, but again, you need to always consider the fact that you can exploit certain kind of things like this. But again, PTB, we'll test it out. We'll see what happens. I don't really have much more to say about it. I just think it's definitely not the right path. It's no secret that, let's actually read this, because I actually haven't read it. No secret that tunneling can be seen as an efficient way to play for killers. While this can be true, it's also true that results of this can be frustrating for survivors, leading to trials ending too quickly for some, while leaving others to fend for themselves in a match that is now much more difficult. True, sure. The intention here is for both roles to feel the benefits and incentives that come with spreading hook states. On the one end, survivors have better opportunities to evade and reset after unhooks, while also limiting these tough situations where losing a survivor too quickly causes things to go south quickly and snowball. On the other end, killers are able to apply more map pressure and push back against efficient teams, covering ground post hook and strengthening gen regression. That's another thing as well. What if the survivor just gives up? Obviously, you can't unhook now, unless you bring like a wait. But what if someone brings like a lucky, or like, you know, those luck offerings? And then what does it say? A survivor that was last hooked is sacrificed or killed. What if they just die on hook? Will that actually benefit them? Will the survivors get benefit? Will the killer get punished because the other people didn't save the team? Or save their teammate? Oh god, now the more I'm thinking about it, the more it's kind of concerning. Okay, I didn't even think about that. Oh. Yes, we'll see. I guess we'll see. Elusive stats effect. Okay, so that was the thing we were talking about with where you can't have any, or you can't, there's no collision. Add in a new stats effect that silences grunts of pain and suppresses survivors' auras, pools of blood, and scratch marks. So kind of like, well, like off the record, right? Except scratch marks as well. I'm pretty sure off the record still lets you see scratch marks. So yeah, a nice little way to be a little bit sneaky, I suppose. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Tomes lore update. Okay, so they're gonna make it so that you have a lot more lore when it comes to tomes. That's something that people are upset about ever since they made the tome changes and like the quests system. They kind of ditched a lot. I don't care about this too much, but this is a good change, sure. Like, this is not a gameplay change. It's just more so if you like the lore of the game, you have a little thing. Now we get to the killer changes, dude. Some of these I am okay with. Some of these are like, whoa. I actually I don't know where I'm at. Let me see. I don't hate any of these changes. I think the only changes I might say I hate is clown, but let's just wait. Okay, so Maya's got a full-on rework. Just full on. They fully reworked him. Replaced Evil Within with 2 modes that can be toggled with a button press: Stalker mode and Pursuer mode. Stalker mode makes it so that you move 4.2 meters per second. You're undetectable and you can stalk survivors. So you can now only stalk survivors in this mode. If you're not in this mode, you cannot stalk survivors. Pursuer mode makes it so your 4.6 more movement speed, 24 meter tear radius, increased vault speed, bonuses to lunge range, break speed, and stun recovery, and cannot stalk. So you are just a gigabuffed M1 killer if you're in this Pursuer mode. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure, like in tier 3 at least, you still do get the increased vault speed. You still get the bonuses to lunge range. The break speed, stun recovery, and obviously kind of stalks, but the break speed and stun recovery is new. I don't know what the numbers are going to be like. I feel like the numbers are going to definitely matter. Once the stalk meter is full, either incarnate mode can be triggered at will, granting the following effects for a limited time. So yeah, they made it so that instead of having to 99 your evil incarnate, you can fully charge it and then just press a button in order to activate it. So you get 4.6 movement speed, 40 meter tear radius, and increased vault speed. Unlock slaughtering strike ability. This is crazy, dude. This is honestly so. I'm so excited to try this. Hold the power button to charge this ability, reducing movement speed. Press the attack button while charging to quickly lunge forward, adjusting your angle as you move. The length of the lunge depending on charge time. The survivor enter the killer's attack range while lunging. They are knocked into the dying state. This ability can also be used to destroy pallets. It is like an insta-down pig. Like an insta-down pig dash. That can apparently destroy pallets too. This is ridiculous. I know so many people that are going to be upset with this, and I kind of understand why. They are making killers. I think a lot of people that like Myers like how basic he is, like how much of an M1 killer he is, but just stronger. They're really changing him. I don't know, like this is the type of change. I don't think Myers, right? I don't think Myers is the killer that needs changes the most. But this also looks really fun, as you can see. So yeah, you charge it. Oh my, it's literally like a pig dash. It's literally like a dude. It is wild. It looks so awesome, dude. Unlocks the ability to grab and kill or perform a regular Mori on survivors who would die on the next time they hook. So if they're on death hook, you can basically do like a tombstone. Or again, Mori if they are on the floor. Adjust the summoner mechanics of stalking. Remove the limited pool of stalk points per survivor. So basically, obviously, I mean, I will say it's actually pretty generous now, but they made it so they only have like a limit to stalking survivors. Now there's just no limit. Reduce stalk range to 32 meters and removed distance modifier. So I don't know how big the stalk range or how fast the stalk rate is going to be, but 32 meters is you have to be decently close, I suppose. Moving while stalking has increased movement speed, but incurs a reduced stalk rate. So actually standing there and stalking them will make it so that you stalk faster, which is kind of funny. And then reworked his add-ons. I don't even know what to say to this, dude. Like, this is crazy. It is literally like pig. It's kind of like pig, right? Pig, but in some ways better, I suppose. They don't have the bear traps, but they have like everything better. We'll see. This is crazy, dude. Clown changes. Okay, so I don't hate these changes. It's just more so that Clown I still think is going to be super strong. Increase the active time for the after-piece antidote and increases how long the after-piece tonic's hinder effect lingers after leaving the smoke. So they buffed after-piece tonic again so that like when you leave the smoke, you're actually hindered for a little bit longer, which is good because I do think that the like lingering effect, being like 1 second, I believe, is kind of like the purple borders do feel kind of bad. And an increased activation time of the after-piece antidote. I have no idea how long that's going to be, but if they actually like revert that to what it was, I still think Clown is going to be super strong. I actually don't think he's like super strong, like A tier. I'm not saying he's A tier, right? I think like right now he's like a mid B tier killer, but maybe even low B tier, honestly. But I think some of his interactions are just really boring, and I don't think any of the interactions are going to change with this with these nerfs, so, or this nerf specifically. So I don't know, we'll see. Unknown, something that people know me a lot for, because I used to hold the world record for unknown UVX downs. Not anymore, unfortunately. But they're making it so that, yeah, increase the additional time added to weakened when injured by a UVX projectile. So if you get injured by UVX, you have a lot more of like the timer. So you have more of a I guess like if you injure someone after weakening them, now it gives you a lot more time to then actually down them, which is pretty cool. Increases movement speed recovery after teleporting. Yeah, sure. Adjusts several add-ons, cool. But this is the big one. Increases camera's vertical range. Now, I'm just gonna say this right now. Okay, let me actually read it, because I haven't read these ones. The unknown is largely considered to be fun to play as and again, so we want to preserve that while adapting to the current state of the gameplay. We buffed up the UVX slightly, while also taking what we learned from the animatronic to allow for orbitals, improving UVX aiming and making for even more fun gameplay. Okay. So, I'm not gonna lie. As someone that really does enjoy Unknown, I only care about these changes if the camera vertical range includes aiming down. If they make it so that you can actually like very much aim down, cool, awesome. I actually think that's great. If they haven't, then I just don't care too much. In full honesty, I did not mean to do that. In full honesty, yeah, I know. I as someone that really does enjoy Unknown, I just don't care as much for these changes as I feel like I could. Dark Lord, Dracula. These are changes that are definitely interesting. Dracula is a very, very strong killer. So they made it so vampire form, slightly reduced hellfire cooldown, increases total hellfire pillars by 1, so his range is going to be a decent bit longer. Reduces hellfire charge movement speed. Yeah. And then slightly increases slowdown time after casting Hellfire. So they made Hellfire stronger, but the whole like actually executing it and like your speed will be a little bit slower. But yeah, reduce Hellfire charge movement speed as well. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like a small little rework to Vampire form. I think this, I mean, it really depends on the numbers. Like, slightly reduced Hellfire cooldown. How much is slightly? I think the Hellfire pillars by 1 can be pretty cool. But then how much movement speed, or how little movement speed is it going to have now? I'm not sure. Wolf form they fully nerfed, which makes sense. Increases pounce attack charge time, and then increased scent orb spawn time. Yeah, I think Wolf form is probably... Actually, I say probably. Wolf form is the strongest form, in my opinion. I think you could actually, like, if you play just vampire form, if you just play wolf form, I think you're gonna have much more you're gonna have more successful games in wolf form. I think his pounce attack is really nice. I also think him just being a wolf and him being much smaller can be pretty hard for certain loops. So I'm okay with this. And then lastly, bat form increases movement friction to make flying easier to control. So a little quality of life change. I kind of want to see what I'm excited. I want to check this out. I think this is gonna be cool. The ghoul. This is more so, it's not even a bug fix, but it actually is something. Recently in a Q&A, someone asked about the kidnap tech. Basically, if you don't know what the kidnap tech is for the ghoul, when a survivor vaults a pallet and they go a little bit further away from the pallet, the ghoul can do the kidnap tech where they can latch onto the survivor, vault the pallet or the vault depending on where you are, and the survivor is locked into place. And sometimes they'll even get injured, because if you don't know, if you're like right next to the ghoul when he does his little vault thing with his tentacle strike, you get injured. So sometimes it's really, really annoying. They did say that this was not a bug, this was intended, or at least intended for, like, in terms of how his power works, but they are going to try get rid of it, and they have. So they made it so that if you are, when you start vaulting as a ghoul, then the survivor can move instead of when you end the vault. So good change. I mean, as a P100 ghoul myself, I didn't really do the kidnap tech. Like, I know it wasn't something I aimed for. Like, I just play ghoul normally. How the at least hopefully how that intended to be played. And then yeah, Oni, like I said earlier, they made it so that hooking the survivor now spawns more blood orbs, so you can a little bit less incentive to slug, more incentive to actually pick up. This actually might be really good because you can end your power very early and then get, depending on how many blood orbs you get, you can then get your power back quicker. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. And then yeah, updated various perks. So that's it, dude. I mean, I say that's it, dude. This is crazy amount. Oh my god. If you are not subscribed or if you are not following my Twitch, I'll be live on Tuesday. I'll be live for quite a while, I imagine, to test a lot of these changes. It's gonna be a lot of fun, so make sure you be there. And yeah, I guess we'll see what it's like.